Hey guys, if you're interested in checking out a video version of the show, please visit the LOWKEY GEEK channel on YouTube. There you can not only catch the video version of the podcast, but you can also check out my other projects and short form video that I produce. You can find a link in the description. Otherwise, sit back, relax, and enjoy the show.
Hold on, they're now saying that there's been a mistake that Moonlight won best. No, wait.
No, it was La La Land.
Wait. Okay.
No.
There was a mistake here.
Are they trying to Why is Warren Beatty on stage
okay,
right now?
Okay. It's just Jimmy Kimmel again. I got scared.
Okay.
Everything Everywhere All at Once is our Best Picture winner, 2023.
Yes.
Hell yeah.
Well deserved. Well,
shout out A24.
Oh,
for making
A24.
amazing
Oh my
movies
God.
happen. Shout out everyone watching at home. Shout out the amazing speeches we just watched. Those will be fun to watch again later, especially folks who were just watching us.
And another stab at the Will Smith joke.
Great joke. Number of Oscar telecasts without incident. They changed it to the number one. Fine joke.
Classy joke. Very Jimmy Kimmel. Sarcasm, witty.
We're not going to stay on too much longer. I think we'll do a little bit of recap.
Quick recap
of how momentous this night was and what your thoughts were overall.
Yeah.
On the show.
Obviously, we'd love to know what you all think. I think we have just quick follow up. Birmingham, pretty solid awards given so far. Let's see who wins Best Pick. I think this came in prior to that announcement. And Casey with the emphatic yes.
My text, I've got a lot of texts from folks who are excited about Everything Everywhere All at Once.
Look, again.
What a night.
What a night for them. And let's talk about also like the other winners too. Like All Quiet had a very good night too. But hands down, it can't be reiterated enough that for a movie that came out so early last year, for a very quirky movie, and a movie that
original as hell,
very original,
rare these days, a box office success, but it wasn't a guaranteed box office success.
No,
there's movies that you go to knowing this one's gonna at least break even because it's got this name in the title, this IP. This one was a big swing, a risky movie to even invest in.
Very,
Not a small budget for an indie movie with all the action and effects,
but still
going
small.
into it, and they made a most with a lean crew. And there's some stories of what it took to make it as an indie film at that high level, and it being such a successfully realized film with such a big weird vision. And then it became a box office success through word of mouth. It
was mainly word of mouth, really. Yeah. And, social media reactions, all that stuff. It was one of those films that, when it came out in March, it kept chugging along month after month for a good amount of time.
Yep.
And it was A24's highest grossing movie ever.
All time.
Now the most awarded movie in any given award season, I believe.
For A24 history?
For any.
You mean for all awards?
I think so, yeah, because the record it came in with tonight was it was the most awarded movie.
For and you're including all the other
awards
shows.
Yeah.
Wow.
When I say award season, like all the awards within an award season.
There's a lot of movies in the past who do better at Producers Guild or do better at Writers Guild or do better at Screen Actors Guild. And this movie was such an accomplishment in every different category and just universally recognized, except fuck the BAFTAs. I think we can all say that pretty clearly. They pretty much suck.
And Golden Globe. I'm not a fan of Golden Globe.
And generally haven't been predictive of the Oscars, or as open to movies like this. But other than that, I just had to say fuck the BAFTAs. But other than that, they've been cleaning up so much.
Yeah.
And there was all these like, oh, well, Top Gun's going to win at the Producers Guild, and that'll make things more interesting at least. And then Everything Everywhere wins there.
Yeah.
And it wins at Directors Guild and Screen Actors Guild. That was amazing to watch because I knew, you and I were talking back in March after seeing the movie, there's no way that a movie like this actually gets its due the way we felt so high about it at award shows.
And again, that's just going off of history. Again, any movie that comes out, if you have a movie that came out between the months of January and April, very hard for you to ever be considered for any kind of awards, let alone the Oscars. The fact that this movie kept chugging along, it was breaking records, it was getting a lot of recognition, and then I think it even picked up steam again towards the end of last year, once the award seasons really started to kick into high gear. Yeah. Like, I think you and I, we talked about it before. We were shocked at how many people were talking about this movie still.
Yep.
And I think at that point, we kind of realized how special this could be for that type of movie. Again, which generally also wouldn't be considered for a Best Picture because it's not overly dramatic. It's not historical. It's not a period piece,
That's what I was going to say next is there's definitely an element where it's been a little more different. It's been a little better in recent years to where like this is such a unique movie in a bunch of different ways. Yeah. And this is one of the weirdest movies to ever win Best Picture. Yeah. And I'm about to like just go through probably while I can't sleep tonight after this adrenaline rush of an award show and go through all the past winners. There have been some like more indie, quirky, weird movies for sure. Like Birdman some years ago.
Oh, sure.
There's been movies that were able to showcase and represent folks who normally aren't represented in the movie. So like Moonlight winning and having an all-black cast. Parasite winning a couple years ago and being a big international victory.
Yeah.
This story isn't made enough in Hollywood, and this type of cast isn't shown as the main cast often enough. And the movie this quirky, and one thing you and I especially can't stop griping about is the Oscars not giving movies that are genre films, comedy, horror, sci-fi, movies like that, their due.
Yeah.
Even if it's a great movie. And we saw that in other ways in these same issues. We're not trying to say that the Oscars next year are going to always award what might be an innovative movie or a movie that's pushing the envelope. This year, Nope wasn't nominated at all. And that's a genre movie that to a lot of people, it was in a top 5, top 10 critics' choice and a weird genre movie, unique, etc. All that said, it's nice when the movie that critics are loving and that film fans and cinephiles are loving and the average person is loving when the word of mouth was being so successful in the box office, surprisingly so, and that Hollywood is actually on the same page on Oscars night, because all of that is pretty damn rare, to where the night when we saw the envelope go from La La Land to Moonlight, when La La Land won, folks go, fucking of course it did. It's the one that's the more disappointing choice. Which, of course, like Green Books still win. That was 2018. A very disappointing night for like film fans, right? But in general, what we can see is a moment like the envelope being handed from La La Land to Moonlight, or in this year, it just being handed to Everything Everywhere all at once in the first place.
Yeah. No, a very historical night, a very important night as far as representation and acknowledgement. Michelle Yeoh again has had a huge long career, and the fact that with where she finds herself in her career now, she's finally getting recognized for an achievement of her performance in a movie. Ke Huy Quan, it was a year of comebacks too. Ke Huy Quan, who has been out of the Hollywood scene since he was a kid, because of not being able to find proper roles because of all the stereotypes and all that stuff. I believe one of his last movies may have been Encino Man or something soon after that.
Long time ago. And hearing his story and him give interviews talking about not being able to work, not sure about paychecks during the pandemic, after they'd filmed Everything Everywhere, and then just trying to figure out, like, what am I supposed to do now? Not getting auditions or not getting roles. And then this movie comes out and people get to finally see it and what an amazing actor he is. but it's rare for folks to get a chance like that in life.
Yeah,
and also you were going to mention earlier with the award and the Harrison Ford and Ke Kwan moment up there on stage. That was special.
That was great. That was great seeing, like, again, Harrison, having a chance to act with Ke Kwan when he was a little boy. And that was like always like the greatest pictures to see when they would have a photo together at an award ceremony, kind of like throwback photo. And again, someone that Ke Kwan acted with in Encino Man, Brendan Fraser, who also had an amazing comeback year, for someone who also has been kind of out of the Hollywood kind of spotlight for a very, very long time.
In a way, also Jamie Lee Curtis as a first-time nominee later in her career, and having been a genre person, someone who wasn't taken seriously by Hollywood in this type of elitist award season way. Similar with Brendan Fraser, having been... Jamie Lee Curtis didn't necessarily have the same fall-off that Ke Huy Quan or Brendan Fraser had, and was always in movies and maybe breaks here and there and doing more commercials or commercial films, both at different points. But either way, seeing folks either like kind of like a redemption narrative and comeback narratives were nice. And then also seeing the Daniels giving speeches. I guess another name, because like as an aside, the Daniels giving speeches as first timers to this. Their last movie, Swiss Army Man, I thought also a heartfelt movie, but a fucking even weirder movie than Everything Everywhere.
Sure, by far, yeah. No, because it's so independent, it's so indie that again, those movies very hard for an Academy to recognize, really.
100%.
Yeah. But you think about that movie now. That was a movie on a lot of people's list for one of their favorites that year.
Oh yeah, I heard someone also saying like that this movie had heart, as if that one didn't, because they remember it as the quote unquote farting movie, where there's a corpse that farts and it's ridden like a surfboard or a raft. But the whole point is it's a movie about life and death, and when you're stranded and isolated, and you're like, it's in different ways like a mental health movie. It had a lot of deep points, but that weren't as accessible. Whereas Everything Everywhere did I think maybe a cleaner job of saying this is what the movie is about, and you actually have two characters arguing for their different viewpoints on the meaning of life and the purpose of why we need to be, and how to love people, etc. And then also the thing I was going to add was Michelle Yeoh's a similar. With all these different acting nominations that we've talked about, Michelle Yeoh is another one. First-time nominee, later in career, has had a lot of success, and also not enough roles taking her seriously, and definitely not the awards show folks taking her seriously. And seeing her speech, I think a lot of people were saying that it was neck and neck with Cate Blanchett and Michelle Yeoh. The odds makers had it that way, and Cate Blanchett at different points was the favorite. Personally, I might say Cate Blanchett was the best acting performance of the year. If it was Cate Blanchett expected to win, I might say the same about Michelle Yeoh. But they were both incredible performances. It was really nice to see these. You could call it another redemption arc, like the other ones, where at least someone's getting recognized for having been a mainstay in Hollywood. And stuck to their dream, like she's talking about in her speech so eloquently. But that was nice to see in all four categories. That's rare.
Yeah, no, for sure. And I too, like in our prediction episode, in our ballot episode, I did say that I felt Cate Blanchett's performance was the strongest performance out of all. But for Michelle Yeoh to win, that is the important thing to put out there now. That is the one that needs to be recognized now, because of her longevity in her career, what it means for representation. I felt like that was the more important choice for this year. We don't know if Michelle will ever have a chance to get this kind of recognition again. I'm hoping she will be, but it was more of like, it's about time. Where Cate already has been recognized in the past, and I'm sure she's going to be recognized over again and again later on in a couple of years and all that. But for Michelle, it's more, I don't want to say legacy award, but it's more of like, okay, it's about time you recognize someone like this, because there's so many other people who didn't have that chance. So she is that representative of all those people who just never had a chance to be recognized when maybe they should have been, So very, very touching speeches, all from the Everything Everywhere crew. The Daniels, again, speaking to like the creative people out there, speaking of like not giving up their dreams,
the
and
weirdos,
the weirdos.
the
Yeah. I mean, I love both of them because they both are very nerdy in their own way, and it's the best type of nerdy. The nerdy that we gel with. I could easily see myself hanging out with any one of those.
You see those dudes at a bar, we're popping by being like, "Yo, top 5 movies all time. Let's talk."
Like when we do like the trivia nights, those would be like our trivia night buddies.
Exactly.
And all that.
And seeing Daniel Shiner even be the one to wish everyone a good night, and being a goofy with his big laugh.
Camera. He's like, "Good night, everybody." It's like, that's my dude. That is my dude. So really great to see people like that getting, acknowledged and recognized for the great work that they do, the creative work that they do. And it speaks very highly, again, for those people who are out there trying to do the same things that they are doing. And lightning in a bottle, I have to say. Lightning in a bottle for these guys. And
seriously.
Who would have known?
I'm curious what they'll do next, but I'm sure they have plenty of time to sleepless nights to worry about that and wonder on what's the follow-up.
Right now,
I was almost thinking like fucking retire after this one.
I would.
just go be a film professor, be a legend, a recluse, something like that.
I'll teach a class at UCLA. Just be a resident there.
I personally think that after the last, because I was a fan of the previous movie. A criminally underseen movie, and then now Everything Everywhere. I think it's one of those, they're going to be doing interviews being like, guys, everyone lower your expectations. They were telling people that after Everything Everywhere came out, after it overtook Parasite as the top rated all-time movie on Letterboxd, they're literally on the Letterboxd podcast being like, everyone please stop and lower your ratings. We are begging you.
That's the great thing about both of them, that they're extremely humble. On Twitter. Every time someone would give them praise, they would retort and say, that's kind of you to say, I don't think so, but...
There's a lot of movies that are better than ours, but thank you for being so excited. Maybe calm down.
Right, yeah. And those are the people you want to see, do well out there, And I do think they have a lot more in store for us to all see and enjoy, whether it's another movie or maybe TV, maybe they'll strike a deal with a streaming service or something like that. That'll be interesting. But no, very, very happy for all of those people involved. And again, I said it before during the broadcast, they're all a family and they all acted like one, and you could tell like the passion and love they have for each one of them. Stephanie Sue, I swear, did not stop crying since like earlier on in the whole awards show. She's just full on tears this whole time. I don't know what's going to happen to her tomorrow.
Also, check out her Indie Spirit Award when she won and was crying on stage and not ready, and she's like having a very human moment because it was her only individual award in all this award season where she's seeing her castmates and her movie win and is very hyped for them. And to her, kind of her speech was about being more of like an art school weirdo and her love for indie movies and the Indie Spirit Awards and being somewhere where it's her first individual award she'd ever gotten, and she's like geeking out on stage, crying, overwhelmed, like kind of like making like guttural sounds at points where you're just like, holy shit.
Like, is she okay?
She's having but she's having like a very real moment on stage and kind of freaking out. That was lovely to see, and the fact that all of them at different points have been awarded for that movie was cool as hell.
No, it was great, and I don't think there was any sorry, what were we gonna say?
Is anything else I was gonna ask, because I'm happy to do like close out with any more recap or future. Does anything else stand out? I know we were saying like All Quiet did better than we thought in a few categories. A lot of things that basically held down as the odds favorite. I don't think there was any huge upsets or shocks.
No.
There are going to be people who are upset about how certain awards went down. I know that there's going to be folks who are disappointed in supporting actress. Especially after Angela Bassett.
Angela Bassett is going to be spoken about, I'm sure. We're definitely going to be, for the next couple of days, we're going to be hearing about the Angela Bassett not winning.
Andrea Riseborough they even bothered nominating her.
Yeah,
I'm sure
look
that
what
conversation
happened there.
will never end. It's going to be part of the legacy of this year's Oscars. There weren't any huge incidences, which, while sure it's fun for getting attention for the show, it's kind of better to have like. The last time because I watch this every year and I pay attention to all the feedback that the show gets, and usually people are either like bummed out about the winner. Last year it was all about the slap,
of course.
In prior years, it's the host was so terrible. It was such a bad job. In some years recently, it's been there weren't enough nominees, and so you're getting all these weird nominees because there weren't movies in theaters.
Right.
It's been a while. And maybe if you're someone who hates everything everywhere, I think most people are just like, I didn't get it. It wasn't for me, but I see why. I'm glad people are excited about it. It was a cool movie. Things like that. I don't know people who are haters about it necessarily. I don't think I've seen that. I might be biased. I know there's some people who just said straight up, I didn't get it. Tried to watch it a few times. Never got it. I'm never going to get it. Enjoy everyone. But if you're a hater about the movie, then this was a very fucking bad night for you. Other than that, this felt like one of the cleanest Oscars we've had in a minute, where there are definitely people left out no matter what.
Sure.
If you go into the Oscars thinking that you won't be disappointed in that type of way, in a very basic, the best performance, or they'll be underrepresented. We all knew that going into this year's Oscars. The expectations were kind of set. Last year's Oscars were so wild with the slap, and in recent years,
it was unexpected too.
Not enough good movies. In years before that, it's been a very disappointing set of winners or weird, crappy speeches. I remember Joaquin Phoenix and Renee Zellweger giving back-to-back weirdo speeches, and it just being a weird way to end the night. A couple of years ago, with Anthony Hopkins not being there after he beat Chadwick Boseman.
Right.
And they made that the last award of the night, being such a thud way to end the thing. That this is not that year. This to me is a year where at the very least they go, okay, that was a pleasant night. There were a few jokes that were maybe not to your liking, and some winners who weren't to your liking. But overall, a successful award show. Did that just happen? Is that real?
It's true. It's very, like you said, very clean, very uneventful, really, for the most part. The speeches, none of the speeches were cringeworthy or overly political or overly, self-promoting or anything like that. The jokes and the host was fine for what was needed.
Edgy enough that they were funny and like towed the line, and I'm sure some people are going to be upset about a couple different random jokes.
I love that Jimmy went there though. Like Jimmy went with the Will Smith jokes, even though not saying it specifically.
You have to deflate that tension. If you don't address it, it's weirder in my opinion. And some folks were debating maybe they'll ignore it completely. In my personal opinion, I think it's good to not over-fixate on it or to make it like, oh, in this year's award show, we're going to see who's going to slap who. Like weird crap like that. Overall, you kind of have to address it to deflate that balloon, and he did. And of course, and also Jimmy Kimmel was mad after last year, where he's like emotionally defending Chris Rock's honor.
Hated that moment. Yeah, he was very vocal about it.
So he, if anyone, has to mention it, and yet they didn't hyperfixate on it. It didn't feel like the jokes were too wild. Like Chris Rock's recent special, where he addressed it, was very on the nose.
Yeah,
this was more
very
like
visceral,
a sidestep, kind of like a jab. Yeah. A clever way to handle it, in my opinion, overall. And sometimes it was very overt, but they never mentioned dude's name. No. I don't think.
It was perfectly done in Jimmy's voice. That's the thing. It's like, very quirky, very sarcastic, and very witty. Yeah. Again, it's quick jabs here and there, especially at the end with the nice little incident thing. Like, I mean, that's a very that's a very Kimmel type of humor.
Number goes from 0 to 1.
Yeah. So very well handled. I think the only cringeworthy moment of the evening was the cocaine bear, the dude in the bear costume.
Yeah, I think that if you didn't have that, we're at a near perfect Oscars, at least for not having fucked up, weird, bizarre, gross moments, etc.
But a part of me wonders, was that him or was that the producers of the show / Elizabeth Banks agreeing to do something like that? Because she walked out with the dude in the bear costume, and then when Jimmy did the crowd work, that bear just kind of followed him.
If Jimmy was upset, it was like, imagine if the bear was pranking in some way, or like the guy in the bear costume was like, oh shit, I could go out there.
This is my moment. Yeah.
And I wouldn't be shocked if we heard that, because that was the only weird moment where it was like, this doesn't feel planned.
It didn't fit.
And then the bear's kind of like half pretending to attack Malala.
Yeah.
Don't do that.
Yeah.
That was weird. You're right. That was a clunky moment. There's a moment when there's laughter during the In Memoriam introduction.
Because it was all the same time.
It was around that same time. Yeah. So if that's part of the same thing, maybe the person takes off the bear head and reveals who it is. Something like that. Like, I'm trying to think of what could even happen. Can you imagine? But then it's during the In Memoriam. They're like, we can't show that.
No. Yeah.
That would be an interesting behind the scenes. What the hell happened there? Yeah. Other than that, you're right. That is a clunker moment, but it's definitely not the worst we've seen.
No. Again, I think the things that people look forward to the most are any of the speeches going to be overly political or whatever the case is. You know, self-promotional stuff, whatever.
Boring is another terrible thing.
Yeah. We only had like 2 or 3 playouts. Unfortunate playouts because, you know, I'm sure it could have been a quick thing or whatever the case is. But no real shocking moments, no huge surprises. Again, if there was going to be any talk in the next couple of days about what happened tonight, it's going to be Angela Bassett, probably for a supporting role. The cocaine bear moment, I'm pretty sure a lot of people are going to be talking about that.
Someone asked on Twitter if it was Matt Damon in the bear costume.
Oh, my God. Could you imagine?
But then the timing with the in memoriam, that's too fucked up.
It's too stupid. It's too bad, yeah.
Otherwise, that actually would have been a good moment.
That would have been great, actually, yeah.
Another one that is A24 gets Best Actor also. I hadn't put that together before.
Oh, yeah. A24 has...
winning all those awards, and it's their 10th year of being a studio promoting independent movies.
Yeah.
We did a whole episode earlier this year of our favorite A24 movies and the history of them and what they mean
check
to
that out
movies.
Because we love A24, yeah. But A24, banner year for them. Really, if they weren't on the map before... My goodness, they are definitely
the winning most studio. God damn, that's rare.
Yeah. I mean, again, all the major categories. Brendan Fraser, The Whale, A24. Ki Kwan, everything, A24. Michelle, of course, same. Jamie Lee Curtis, directing. It's unbelievable, A24, and for a studio of their stature, for not being around. We saw them paying tribute to Warner Brothers for 100 years of film industry and all that stuff. And then again, Disney, 100 years and all that. Yet you have A24 owning the night.
1/10 of that.
1/10 of that. How beautiful is that? But yeah, let us know whether you're probably, if you're live right now, we'll be on for like another 5 minutes or so. But if you're watching this in the replay, what were your favorite moments of the night? What did you consider to be a cringy moment or the most heartfelt moment of the night? Because I think it's kind of hard to beat that Ki Kwan speech.
It was early on, and I think it was a smart speech to put early on, getting folks on that page of how this is a big moment for some folks.
Yeah.
And this is like a night where you can have amazing stories, not just being rewarded, but also on stage.
Yeah.
That was a cool moment to start off with. That was my personal favorite. Mm-hmm. There's a couple great original song moments.
The Lady Gaga performance, I mean, for something we weren't expecting to really happen tonight, that was actually pretty strong. That was like a really, really nice, raw performance of hers. And again, as if you needed to be reminded of her talent. I mean, she's just so good in general anyway.
I mean, Lady Gaga killed it. Rihanna killed it. Natu killed it. Everything Everywhere All at Once, original song, killed it. Diane Warren happened to be there.
Yeah. I mean, performing on stage.
Sure.
You know,
she was there. I guess
she was there.
Yeah, but everyone else killed it for sure. And Diane Warren played the piano.
Yeah.
I think this is a special year.
Yeah.
I think we might. I don't want to get too spoiled. I'm usually more tired, disappointed, burnt out than this. So this was fun.
Oh, this was great. This was great. No, I'm glad we were able to finally do this. Again, we were supposed to do this last year. It would have been a totally different year if we did that. If we were able to do it last year with the surprise moment. But to close it out, I think we should talk about our results in the ballots because Blake is indeed the clear winner here by I would say I would dare say landslide at this point because Blake did get the majority of the major categories and I missed out on maybe 1 or 2 of them. And once you do that in any Oscar ballots, whether you're in the office or with your friends, if any one of you miss out on a major category but other people are getting those, that's when you know you're in for like a rough night for sure. And maybe in other nights, if it was just one major category and I cleaned up on all the small ones, then that would probably be a different thing. But no, this year, definitely not my year, but that's fine. So the punishment, we will agree as to what movie you're going to ask me to watch. And the wager that was on the table was I was going to do that, but I'm also going to I haven't decided yet if I'm going to live stream my reaction doing it, or I'll record it for sure, and I will post it as a reaction video on the channel. But when do you want to tell me which movie that is? You want to wait till our next episode, or?
Well, so we do these weekly, and we'll often start off an episode, or we talk about movies weekly, especially new releases, but then we'll start off talking about what have you seen in the last week. So at the very least, in an upcoming episode, I'll be really enjoying that moment where I'm asking you. I currently am still leaning towards the Jim Jarmusch option, but right now I'm on Letterboxd. I've got my top 150 all-time movies list. And I'm just looking for what's the most painful or longest one or the weirdest one. I've got some real weird stuff on here. So I'm going to make it. Have you seen, I think you have, and I think you'd like it, was Yorgos Lanthimos' The Lobster? Speaking of Colin Farrell out there.
I love that movie.
I assume so. All right, I got to go even more.
That movie was great.
Okay. All right, but thank you. I'm excited for this opportunity.
We'll figure it out.
I appreciate you.
Yeah, and I appreciate you. And if you guys appreciate us, you could easily show that just by simply liking the video if you haven't done so yet, subscribing if you haven't done so yet, so that if you want to see my reaction to whatever Blake decides to let me watch or ask me to watch, then definitely stay tuned to the channel to watch my reaction to that. But a huge, huge, huge thanks to all of you who are watching along with us tonight. Shout outs to Burnhaven, KC, Greg Reeves from earlier in the evening. And I don't know if you're still there, but KC did have one last chime in. So happy that everything won so many. Yes, we are very happy to. Again, thank you to all of you who are watching, and to all of you lurkers too who didn't leave a comment. Again,
shout out to my mom.
Shout out to
Bobak popping in early on the comment section.
Yeah, shout out to everyone. Comment or not, just really happy that you joined us tonight on this great evening, fun evening, an evening that I'm glad Blake and I were finally able to do in person together, and our first in-person thing that we've done for the channel, because everything we've done was over Zoom or whatever you want to call it and all that. So how did this feel? This felt good, right?
I just got here. The different Blake has been, and then I'm about to chew some chapstick really quick. That's how I'm gonna celebrate this evening.
But this has been fun, and I hope this leads to more in-person, episodes and stuff like that we'll do later on this year, whatever the case is. Stay tuned, whenever that happens. But right before we sign off, Blake, again, where could people find you online?
You can find me on your couch right now. I'm right here.
There you go.
Sitting here, just hanging out. That or letterboxd.com, as I was just mentioning, where I've got all those lists, including 150 favorite movies, 10 favorite movies, on and on. My screen name there is Last Name Wolf. No punctuation, nothing. Just regular spelling. Last name Wolf.
Last Name Wolf. There you go.
Yeah.
All right.
Find me there.
Find him there. And please follow him there, because, again, great follow, especially with all the unique lists that he has.
Everything Everywhere All at Once has been on my top 10 movies list since about June or July. Once I gave it some time, slept on it.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised.
So this has been a good night.
I'm not
Thank
surprised.
you.
No, thank you. And for me, obviously, I am on Letterboxd as well. I'm not as well versed in Letterboxd yet, not like my boy here, but I am starting to get myself familiar with the platform. So definitely follow me there. And all of the socials and Letterboxd, it's all under LOWKEY Geek, just like here on YouTube. Again, thank you so much for watching. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. If you want an audio version of the shows that we do and the things I do here on the channel, definitely type in LOWKEY Geek on your podcast platform of choice, where you can download this episode. I'm not sure if this particular episode will be up there, but there will be other episodes that you could listen to for whenever you are in the mood for listening to us on the toilet or on your way to work or whatever the case is. Wherever people listen to podcasts, you can find us there.
Or we'll find you. We might just
find you,
or we'll just pop by. If you're sitting on a bus stop, we'll just start talking about movies.
Yeah,
just hanging out.
Yeah,
either in your ears or just in person.
We'll just be there.
Yeah,
we'll just.
If you don't find us, it'll be fine. We'll keep talking.
We'll just keep talking.
We're just gonna be here.
Yeah, we'll just do what we do as we do normally every week. So, with all that being
4 hours in.
4 hours in. Yeah.
Will this ever end? We're about to find out. I can't wait.
Yeah. But again, this has been a lovely evening. Thank you again so much for watching. I've been Rene. That's been Blake. This has been a special Oscars watch along live reaction episode of Movie Time. Stay cool, stay classy, stay safe, and we will catch you in the next one. Peace out, everybody. Have a lovely evening. Or morning for those of you in Japan.